Hello again, it's me, I'm back. This time we are talking about falconry. Did you know that falconry actually shaped the English language? Falconry is defined as the art of using a trained bird of prey to hunt on quarry. The term quarry refers to the wild game, such as rabbits, hares, pheasants, ducks, or crows, that the falcons hunt after. Falconry has existed for an estimated 4,000 years. It was exceptionally popular in the 16th century. It was actually an inspiration in some of Shakespeare's literature. In fact, falconry is now actually the origin of quite a few different terms we have today, such as the terms fed up, under your thumb, and hoodwinked. Fed up refers to when the falcon has eaten so much that it does not want to return back to its trainer and it does not want to resume any more training. It simply sits there and does nothing. This term can now be translated into when you are sitting down, fed up with the people around you, and you don't want to deal with anything. Next up, we have under your thumb. It refers to the two jesses around the falcon's legs. I'll go over those in a minute. Anyway, when you put the two jesses around the falcon's legs, you have to pin them down. So you wrap them around your glove and you put them underneath your thumb and you pin them like that. This keeps the falcon from flying away at inopportune moments. Nowadays, this term refers to someone who is controlling you. Lastly, we have the term hoodwinked. Personally, my favorite because I love the word. It sounds funny. Anyway, now, the term hoodwinked refers to when you place a hood over the falcon's head. Now, you might be wondering why you have to do that. Well, the reason is, sight happens to be a raptor's main sense. Yes, birds of prey are called raptors. Go crack open a dictionary or something. I'm not going to explain any further. Anyway, raptors are very highly strung creatures, and if they see something that freaks them out, they're going to be very difficult to deal with. So, the trainer puts a hood over their head to keep them from seeing anything. Once you have removed the raptor's main sense of sight, they think it's gone dark, and you have tricked the raptor, or rather, hoodwinked it. Now, there are a lot more terms that the good old bard came up with, but I'll go over them as I come up to them. For now, back to the history of falconry. As I stated before, falconry is estimated to be over 4,000 years old, but the first credible records we have are up to 3,000 years ago, where Mongolian tribes used birds of prey to hunt down food for their villages, and the tradition of training and hunting with raptors has existed since then. Again, raptors as in hawks and falcons, and not the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. By the way, those dinosaurs are actually about the size of a chicken, so don't believe everything you see in the movies. Although falconry has lost some of its popularity over the centuries, it left a huge mark in the history books, with falcons not only being used to hunt prey, but also used in battles and in social hierarchy. More on that in a second. A common belief is that falconry originated in Egypt and then made its way all the way up through Europe and Asia over the centuries, eventually making it to Great Britain by the 9th century, where it proceeded to become very, and I do mean very, popular. For a good while, falconry was seen as the sport of kings, and any peasants caught owning a falcon or using a falcon for hunting were punished severely. Because if a peasant was caught with a bird deemed above their rank, well, they could have their hands chopped off. Although a peasant could own a bird, such as a kestrel, oftentimes they didn't find it very worth it because it took up a lot of time, energy, and money to own and train a falcon, so a lot of peasants just didn't really do it. Some of the most common birds of prey used were kestrels, peregrine falcons, gyre falcons, and merlins. Now, to catch a raptor I said not velociraptor already, don't make me say it again. That's bitter. Now, anyway, as I was saying, to catch a raptor, you needed to construct a trap, like this one. Once captured, the bird was fitted with equipment to allow the falconer to hold and, albeit somewhat, control the bird. The methods of tethering and handling the birds haven't changed much over the years, such as using leather to make anklets and jesses. Jesses are the thin, durable straps designed to be fastened around the legs of the bird to allow the falconer to safely manage and handle the bird. Once captured, the next step is to man the bird. Manning is the term used to describe the action of spending time with the bird on the glove. Basically, getting the bird used to humans, other animals, and objects and contraptions. By the way, when you man a bird, you're going to want to bring a book, because you're going to be there a while. Some recordings of falconers manning their birds record them being with them until the bird fell asleep. Once this stage is complete and the bird is settled, the trainer will begin feeding it a wide variety of food, such as quail and rabbits, to get the bird to trust the trainer. By the way, yes, the bird was in fact being fed before, but just tidbits of meat while it was being manned. However, the falconer would start to intentionally bring the bird's weight down, so the bird would be hungrier and easier to train. Once the bird was ready, training would begin. For initial training, basically a leash, or a creance, was tied to the bird to begin practicing flying off the fist and such. Eventually, the leash would be removed and the bird would begin flying great lengths and heights to replenish its fitness before it would fly back to the trainer. Why would it fly back to its trainer, you ask? Well, because the man has free food. Duh. And then the trainer would immediately proceed to feed it even less, so as to drop the bird's weight down even more. Once this stage is complete, the raptor would be introduced to a large hunting field, where, because this is a hungry little birdie, the hunting would begin and the raptor would then commence to obliterate everything ranging from rabbits and other birds. Fun fact, raptors actually don't need to drink that much, because they get most of their bodily fluids from, let's just say, the red viscous liquids that come from their prey. How nice. Because of this, when trainers put bowls of water out for their birds, the birds would often sit in the bowls of water, and these birds would become known as boozers. These booze birds are the reason we have the word booze, which is now a name for alcohol. One last thing before I go. If you were wondering what kind of birds were seen fit for different social classes, well, here's a small list. At the bottom of the pile, kestrels were seen for the peasants, sparrowhawks were only allowed to priests, knights would get a skater falcon, and at the very top were gyre falcons. Only kings could own them. Now that's the end of this video essay, and I will see you in another subject. Goodbye.